There we go. That should have fixed it. All right. Oh, now we're gonna do the commissions. All right. Congratulations on Firth, Jamer. Yeah. So I was gonna have us listen to some horror stories. So the reason why I ended stream and redid it was I didn't want the whole VOD on YouTube to be completely nuked. I was like, I don't want that. There you go. Let's see. Let me check on YouTube real quick. Yeah, alright, bet. We can listen to scary stories. We can listen to scary stories, guys. Don't be scared with me. Scared together. I think it's oh wait, no. I was listening to one today that was like a little spooky, which was the oh, I've been listening to music. I can't find it now. Hold up. It's basically about how this dude ended up replacing his mentor in university. And it's like, there we go. The day the sun went dark. So I'm like, oh, well, all right then. That's kind of crazy. All right. Well, this sounds pretty cool. So let me go ahead and put that on. Well, let me go find something first. Let me go find a story we can listen to actually while I work on this. Because I feel like it's better for me to put on a story for you guys to listen to than it's for me to like get lost in the sauce and say nothing. But see, this is what I mean. Even this guy, you know, he's probably the main person who like had this trend of like the scary text with like a couple of like red words in it. Oh yeah, he's always been doing this. 3 freaky camping horror stories. 3 freaky ones. Oh, his thumbnails were horrifying. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, his thumbnail game. What happened to his thumbnail game, bro? Hold up. Nah, his old thumbnail game was creepier than the one that he has now. Because sometimes I wonder, like, with the what do you call it? With the horror genre, right? The horror type of like videos on YouTube. I feel like everyone's video, like everyone's how do I say this? Everyone's style of thumbnail is the same. It's very much the same. Oh, Stay by the Fire was pretty good. Yeah, that one was pretty good. But yeah, they're pretty much the same. And I think a part of it is I think that a lot of horror type of YouTubers, in a sense of like, you know, telling scary stories, I think they rely a lot on AI. At least some of them, if not most of them. Because the way that they look, right? The way that a lot of their artwork looks is very reminiscent of AI. But I can't say for sure because let's see, do they have any credits actually? Like for their channel or anything? Yeah, they always credit the author. Free sounds, creative license, merch. No. Yeah, but like pretty much if you showed me these thumbnails and you showed me a lot of other creators like who do these type of scary stories, um I can't tell them apart. I'm like, here, let me look something up real quick. Hmm. Oh my god. I was looking, so I basically looked up on Google, right? If a lot of the creators also noticed that people were using AI art in their thumbnails, and I got a whole other can of worms. Basically, I'm like, I didn't come here for that, but okay. Now I'm curious. Hold on, let me look at some of the recommended channels. Mm, where is it? Where is the one that was recommended? I literally, I literally saw like the, where is it? Little something. Hmm. I can't seem to find the original comment of who to recommend. Oh. Man, this whole thread's making me sad. So basically, I'm just reading through the thread, and they're mentioning how Oh my god, hi Cooper. Oh my god, you on YouTube. Hello Cooper. Congratulations on fourth on YouTube. Oh, why can't I see you? Hold up. I'm basically looking into horror stories on YouTube because I noticed that quite a few have been like, how to explain this? So let's be honest, so many of them use AI art, right? They use AI art for their thumbnails. And I've recently been thinking about this because I'm like, man, everyone has the same thumbnail. Because like if you showed me some of the biggest creators who make like creepy pasta, scary story narrations, I would be like, yeah, I can't tell. I literally can't tell the difference between the thumbnails because they use the same text or like similar style text. Like they have like the white text and then they have like red lettering. I'm like, let's see. My father always kept the shed locked. And then in red, today I found out why. And the reason I say this, right, is some of them are more apparent than others. Like this video that I ended up like showcasing, 100% the art is AI generated. It has that weird look to it. But I think lately they've been trying to have more of a painterly look to their AI art, if that makes sense. Like they've been more consistent. And I've never really looked into it too much because I was like, you know what, I really like the stories. I don't wanna I don't wanna I don't wanna face the music if it's AI generated, bro. I hate it here. Because whenever you see anything that's AI generated, you can't help but think like, what else is using AI? What else is using AI, bro? Because like many people in this thread have been talking about how they're one concerned with the actual story being written with AI because there's a lot of plot holes or just continuity issues. So for example, they're like, oh, I went into here and then I went into there or whatever, right? And it doesn't necessarily make the most sense. Other people are very concerned with narration because they're like, I don't know if I can't really tell that much, because usually when people do any sort of voiceover, depending on like the quality and the intention, a lot of people get rid of like the little breaths that people take whenever they're speaking. Very tedious, very very tedious. So like for example, there was one creator, also hello, there was one creator who ended up what do you call it, talking about how someone kept commenting on their post saying that they thought that they were AI, like their voice was AI. And I was like, oh, that's rough, because they're like, you don't have any semblance of like, I don't know, I guess like breaths or like, their post production was really good. So they're like, oh no, that's at least what I thought, because they also didn't have like a camera in any sense. They didn't have like a PNG camera, nothing. It was just the straight gameplay. Let's see. There we go. I found the original comment. I'm gonna look up this channel. Ooh. This was 12 years ago. This is the latest. What do you mean? That was 12 years ago. You gave me a channel that's 12 years, like their most recent update was 12 years ago. Damn. Bro, true, there's a channel that like goes ghost hunting, but now they started using it in reenactment parts where the reading a document of what happened at the place they're at. Yeah, no, exactly. Like It's very sad to kind of realize it as you're listening to a story that it just doesn't necessarily make sense, or there's a lot of like repeating aspects of it, right? Where I'm like, you said that, but you're literally saying something else that contradicts this. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, genuinely, what are we doing? Oh yeah, this is like 2 years ago. That's the only thing that I can find that mentions anything with AI in a sense. Let's see. Because what makes it very concerning, so this is the thing, right? What makes it very concerning for me, at least, is I've noticed, especially in like the streaming sphere or like anything on YouTube, I noticed that if people gatekeep their artists in a sense of like, hey, who made this? 80, maybe 90% of the time it was basically made by AI. And I've kind of just recently, not recently, but kind of understood this for the past few months, because I would be asking some people for like a reference of their model. I'm like, hey, can you give me a reference? Hey, can you like send me a picture of your model? And every time they would send me their model, it would look different. And I'm like, or they would like send me fan art of the model instead. So as I look closer, I'm like, oh yeah, your VTuber model was made with AI. Like it's not even like me being like the biggest AI hater or anything like that. It's more of me like looking at things and being like for example, uh, let's do a picture here. We'll use we'll use here, Cooper. We'll use you. Well, it's gonna be easy if we just use you. It definitely turns me away since they used to do it all with stock film from random shots of the building that gives creepy feeling without the AI slop. Yeah, exactly. A lot of it's just like, in my opinion, being lazy. A lot of a sense, like there's no need to, especially in that case, to generate like AI images when you can literally just take B-roll of the building. Like that's gonna take like what, maybe 5 minutes. So I'm like, bro, I don't know, get creative with filters. I don't know, film like a piece of rock or something. Do like a long shot of the building. Like something, bro. So like for example, like I'm not saying that Cooper's thing's AI, but like for example, we'll do this. So I would look at their model, right? And I'll be like, okay, makes sense. And then like, for example, like say this area, the zipper part would be, say it's like a chain, and the chain would just look so disjointed, where what the chain would look like, here I'll draw it on the side. Actually, let me get a new canvas because I don't want to ruin the speed paint. So what the chain would look like, right, is like this. Like it'll be like a basic chain. Like, okay, you all know what a chain looks like, but then all of a sudden it'll morph into like this, and then it'll go back to being like a disjointed chain. So I'm like, okay, so this is not like a pattern. It just randomly does that, where I'm like, oh, or like it's supposed to be like an amulet, I think, but then it's just really disjointed. Like it's not even supposed to be like a design or anything. Or like if you look at the face too, so like you see like an anime girl eye. This is just bad drawing, but like you will look at the eye, right? and it would be two completely different renders. So like for example, we'll do like a very basic coloring. Like okay, well we'll just do boom and then like that, right? Very basic. But on this side, it would be like this. Would have a whole different texture. Like I'm using a color pencil to shade this, right? Then maybe like there was like a batch like a botched job of trying to fix it. So it's like a pixel pen. And that would be it. And I would never see a high resolution picture of like the model either. I would see like always from like a distance or whatever. So I'm like, oh, I'm so tired of AI boss man. No, exactly. Because even the person, right? Um, I think what makes it worse is that it a lot of like the discussion around AI comes down to like also funding and things like that. Where I'm like, you can just get a PNG model. You don't need to get a VTuber model. And even then, you can have the free versions of those models. Like you can sketch out what exactly you want. And it's not a very complicated design either. It was a very like um typical typical dude design, like random Joe with maybe some embellishments. So I was like, I don't get it. Do you still accept commissions when they do give you AI refs? I know some artists don't, but shrugs. I don't, because I'm in a privileged position to turn down commissions. Uh, what I'm referencing basically is like one of the people I used to know. So I do a lot of gifting people art in a sense of usually it's like my friends or it's like for the raid board or something. And there has been like a few times where I asked for like, hey, can you give me the reference to your model? Hey, can you like, you know, give me a picture of your model? Even just a basic profile picture would be good enough. And they send it to me, but it's like kind of like booty quality. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like I can never like get a good high quality image of this person, right? It's like, okay, whatever. Or they send me fan art. And like what I'm referring to is just like when they do that, most likely their models or their character is made with AI. I haven't had like for me personally, I haven't had a situation where that wasn't the case. The only situation that I've heard of is like, for example, one of my friends, she doesn't give away who made her model art or rigged her model. And the reason for that is like she's very open about it. She's like, yeah, no, I ended up commissioning this person off of like Twitter, right? And they gave me my model. They were wonderful to work with, but they got into some controversy that I do not agree with and I do not want to support them. So I no longer wish to peddle their name out to new people. So that's her stance on not sharing who her artist is. I'm like, I think that's fair. I think, you know, that's in my opinion, that's pretty fair. So yeah, it's very awkward. It's like the braids of their hair AI just can't do it. Yeah, it's like the jewelry especially, or even just like there's random marks. Like for example, you get someone's like boom, boom. Like this is the, you know, the character. We'll do like typical anime girl. But once you like actually look at the face, there's a lot of like random marks where I'm like, okay, it's either the artist was careless and like having those marks in, but they're to a point where they're like this. Like they're actively obscuring the face. So I'm like, you couldn't have just, I don't know, like I get it. Like we can be lazy. Artists can be lazy. You know, I understand it. Why didn't you just do this? Like color pick the skin and like paint over it. Why didn't you just do that? It makes the work look so much better than having all of those like little marks on it. But that's when you notice like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Or like hair accessories is a big one. Like say like a moon and then it's like a little chain or something. And you look on this side, the moon's like a little wonky. So I'm like, oh, is that like a design choice? And then most likely it's not. I'm like, oh, like jewelry is a huge one. Crowns, chains, zippers, um, any like headwear, huge. Yeah, but usually, you know, like I'm no longer associated with a lot of the people who sent me kind of those AI generated models. And that's due to like separate reasons. But I kind of just realized that after some time when I got well when I was deleting a lot of the references I had on my folders. I was like, wait a minute. Hello, hello. Welcome on in. I've seen some artists still accept them since drawing is hard, but I don't know. I get so weird with people who use AI a lot. No, I agree. I agree. Because I get drawing is a skill, but like, bro, I don't know. Like, I just feel weird about it. What happened to photo bashing? Where it's like, you know, you grab random photos and you like, or get like a Pinterest board and then give that to your artist. Because like a lot of, at least like one of the people who I've known who did this and like still, I guess technically still does it. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know them anymore basically. I'm not associated with them at all. But like, they have funds. They have money to commission an artist. So I don't see why it had to be AI generated. Like and even then, like if you can't afford an artist, there's a lot of artists who like for example, what I'm imagining is someone like from the States or like someone from like Europe, right? Or like maybe yeah, maybe even Canada, who are like, I can't find an artist, so I'm just going to AI generate something. I'm like, there is plenty of other artists in other countries that you could outsource work to who will do it for a pretty good price. Because, you know, usually depending on the currency, it's stronger. So they're not going to charge you as much. Like I've seen some people do commissions for like $10. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like all of the Brazilian or Panama artists, right? Their rates are a lot cheaper. Okay, back to work for me. Have fun. Have fun. Bye, Cooper. Have fun at work. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. They at least mentioned to them that AI is bad, but most artists wouldn't accept a commission if they use AI refs. But again, me personally, I wouldn't accept it all at all. Yeah. It's very, yeah, I also just want to accept it. It's just because I really just feel weird about drawing it too. I understand AI for like interactive stories or tools to help correct like coding mistakes you can learn when things go wrong. I personally don't like AI art or AI uses voices stuff like because I don't like their generative. I don't like the idea of stealing from people. Yeah, I agree. Like I don't like generative AI. The other AI are fine. Who cares? All the other ones fine. Like you know the one for medical use, the one for like aiding in grammar, things like that. But once you're generating a story, once you're generating artwork, once you're generating a voice, because most of the time these voice banks are not ethically sourced. I'm not hating on text to speech or anything like that, but you know, when it comes to, oh, well, I'm just gonna get this random streamer or this random actor's voice and use it for this, right? Or even just random people. Let's see. Mood boards are great for getting ideas across. Yeah. Yeah, when labeled, yep. $10 is crazy and it's like the most beautiful art ever. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't like why did you resort to using AI? And again, like I can't even understand it because it's not as though their design was very like for example, when I think of my friends who have very detailed designs, um usually it's because they took inspiration from multiple sources and they made their design that way, right? But this design wasn't anything crazy. Like it looked like a normal dude with like some embellishment. So I just didn't understand why they resorted to AI. And I found this out like way later because I was going through files and I realized I was like, oh wait, oh, oh. Especially when you see like, for example, if if there's literally no credit, absolutely no credit at all, it is very concerning. Because usually, like for example, and whenever anyone commissions me, I just ask for credit on the first post. The first time you post it, just leave my name. You don't even need to tag me on Twitter. You don't need to do anything like that. Just leave my name, and then that's it. That's all I want. Um, but if I look at someone's post and I look through like the artwork that they, you know, post about or like they, oh, I got this done today, and there's literally no credit at all, and there's no mention of credit, like, hey, you know, the artist didn't want to be credited on this, because that's what I usually do. Is that sometimes when it comes to like certain people, I ask for there to be no credit. I don't want absolutely any credit for any of this. No, thank you. So then, you know, that's what happens. But for every single artist you work with, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head out. My artist friend does my emotes. Tried charging me $15 for a fit 5 emotes. I sent them 100, 15 per email tip. Because like that, I hate the idea of good friend, a great artist, an amazing person selling themselves short. That is so fair, and that is so sweet of you. That is honestly so sweet of you. It's very kind of you. Always try to give tips. Artists are loved, and I admire their work. Yeah. Again, very, very, very good of you. Yeah, because like especially when it comes to artists, I feel a lot of them undervalue themselves to like an egregious amount, like a very, very like bad amount. I think where I'm like, bro, charge more. What are you doing? Charge more. Oh my god, I hate it when peeps don't credit. Yeah, because that's the thing. You can if they're not crediting their artist, it's most likely that it's made with AI. Like like I'm not saying 100%, but like it's a huge part. So like what I'm describing is like a person who I not recently, like I noticed like maybe a few months back where I was like, okay, you never give me any clear reference to your model. You don't send me like anything high resolution or zoomed in. Every artwork that I see of your character is completely different. Because like for me, if you, for example, here, I'll show you guys. Look at my BRB screen. All of these artworks were made by different people, but you can tell that they're drawing the same person. Like the head sides, the the horns or whatever, or the pattern. Um, Even though they're made by all different artists, you can tell that the design is still, the main focal point, right? So whenever this person would post like pictures of artwork that they were sent, or like not even sent, but just like pictures of their art, like pictures of their character, it was like, yeah, no, like this is not even close. Like not even close. Oh my god. Hi DJ Backshots. Hi Unknown. How are you? I've seen some people remove the artist watermark after commissioning them and then posting on their account. Scummy behavior, to be honest. Yeah, that's fair. For me, I always give people like, because this is the thing, every artist is different, and I don't think people understand that. Like the way that I interact, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a watermark free version and like go ham. I usually post the watermark version on my account personally. But usually I'm like, yeah, go free, go ham, go stupid. But I think some people don't understand that. Where I'm like, you have to look at the terms and service whenever you commission someone. Oh my god, thank you for the head pat. Thank you. Also, why is there a random like head pat in the sky actually? Wait, let me. Oh, it's my static emote. There we go. Oh, thank you for the care package river. Thank you. We tipping artists right now. Exactly, Unknown. I had an artist who put their signature super tiny in the art piece. I was like, no, make a bigger one and somewhere else, let people know that you made this amazing piece. I agree on that. When it comes to like especially posting on social media, I recommend a big watermark for like Twitter, especially. V-Sky, I think you can just post it as is, but definitely for Twitter. It was a commission for my girlfriend of 3 years who broke up with me 2 days ago. Oh, R.I.P. Oh, R.I.P., bro. I'm sorry to hear that. Tough with the pink shorts? Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, Maisie. Oh, hello, Maisie. I'm alright. Kind of woke up in the middle of the night. Oh, really? So fair, so fair. Yeah, the floating headpants. But yeah, that's just my experience and like seeing, I guess, people around me do, have like AI models and things like that. Where I'm like, yeah, yeah, I guess I just wouldn't draw for them because I just wouldn't feel comfortable about it. Because I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be so real. You're probably gonna feed my art to AI. Let's be real. If you're comfortable having your artwork, like your model, be made from AI, you're probably gonna feed my art into AI. And like, yeah, I know it's like, literally anyone can feed your art to AI if you post it publicly. But it's kind of just crossing that boundary when it comes to artist and client, right? Where I'm like, I'm trusting you not to do something freaky with this art, basically, because that reflects bad on me because I'm the one who drew it. So once they go over that boundary and they use it to generate more AI images, it's like, okay, now you're just being weird. Now you're just being weird, bro. Because it could happen. Like, I've seen in some cases, some people commission an artist in order to kind of analyze their art style in a sense and then produce artwork. Like, for example, I've seen some cases where, the person in general, the artist, has like a distinct style, right? and they've been doing artwork for many years. And they wanted to have a similar piece to their style of artwork, but their AI generated their AI generator wouldn't necessarily make it the same way. Like it always looked odd, it always looked like weird. So they decided to commission the artists, and then they used that to generate more AI pieces of work. Because now they were better able to visualize how exactly their character would work, like would look in that style. So I'm like, oh, that's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up. Oh my god, art. What does your art look like? Oh yeah, I'm not even drawing. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? This is the thumbnail that I was working on recently. This was before I switched over to like trying to do commission work. Did my thumbnail. Let's see. This is my most recent work. This is what I do for raiders. This is a colored piece. And this is a, you know, a shark girly pomp. There you go. That's my artwork. I usually use my raid board in order to experiment. That's why they all look different. Let's see. Does VGen have anything in their terms of service where they can't do that? Like where you get banned if it's found out? They have terms of service when it comes to anyone being an AI generator. They're like selling AI art, right? That is against their term of service, but not necessarily against their website if you do that. For me, it's in my contract that you can't do that. That's like what somewhat legally binding. So they can't say like, oh, well, I didn't know. I'm like, it's literally in the contract, dude. Hi, Lemon. Hi. Oh my yo. Pretty nice. Okay, thank you. How clean your line art is? Oh my god, thank you. I absorb. Thank you. I appreciate it. I am oh, you're a shark too? Nice. Hard part of drawing for me is the rendering. Real. I haven't actually rendered any piece yet for a long while. I just need to, like, for example, most of the work I do, so if you look at my links on the bottom, I draw all of my thumbnails when it comes to my art channel, and then when it comes to my gaming channel, I draw all the thumbnails as well. So I'm trying to do a simpler style that doesn't require a lot of work. Because usually I do more of a painterly style, but I haven't drawn anything recently. I think the most recent piece I have is like my banner. So let me go grab that real quick. Because render's hard. Because I like the painterly look a lot. Let's see. No, it's not it. Where is my Reaper artwork? No, those are my models. There you go. Oh, it took the whole screen. See, this is my last rendered piece. Not a major difference to what I usually do, but it's more painterly, and that's what I like about it. It was based off of a design that my friend made. He basically drew my character as the, what do you call it? High Priestess in tarot. Let's see. Yeah, rendering is so hard. It looks so nice. Yeah, I agree. VGen is very strict on AI. I've talked to them before. Oh, that's very good. I'm glad. Oh no, have you ever ran into any like AI artists or like anyone who uses like an AI made model? Because I have. It's crazy. It's crazy because like usually for me, I don't especially when it comes to friends or like people I know, I don't like to accuse them of AI or anything like that. I don't like to like for example, it's a fellow artist. I'm never going to be like, let me grab your artwork and make it transparent and do this and put it over this artwork or whatever. I'm never gonna do that. Um, because like I have faith and trust in my fellow artist. And maybe that's me being gullible, but I just don't want to think badly of people who do artwork. You know, that's just where I'm coming from. Mm. See, usually when an art takes 4 to 8 for me, I get bored and my art gets sloppy real fast. Oh, so fair. I can't draw when I'm sleepy. I really suck when I'm sleepy. Oh, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the purple. Yeah, I try. I try to make it like it looked a little dead, so I'm like, oh, I should add some purples and blues because that's like kind of Reaper's colors that are not black and white. So I do appreciate the purple appreciation. The autocorrect I see. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the compliments on the eyes. Yeah, it was me trying to study my friend's work. So Ruru does a very lovely job of drawing eyes that are very like glassy. I want to say. Let me flex the homie first. Where's my fan art folder? Where? So if you see like the eyes are like very like the eyeliner's there, very nice, but the actual shape of the pupil is a little bit fuzzy. So I wanted to do something similar to that. Oh, you talked to them in person? Oh my god, that's fun. Uh yeah, disrespectful grabbing someone's art, editing it, even if it's just adding transparency. Yeah, like it's like for example, that's what some people do is that they'll, when it comes to comparing people's artwork to like possible originals, cuz usually when I see people like for example, we all use Pinterest. I get it. We all use Pinterest. But if it's bar to bar, bar to like what I mean is like exactly tracing it, like bar for bar, like whether it be an IRL photo, whether it be someone else's art, like 100% tracing, insane. Like I'm appalled. It's crazy because I've seen that too. Because I've come across a variety of artists, obviously. Well, like me, kind of in the art field, and sometimes I see that, and I don't necessarily say anything because I'm like, I don't want to be that person who's like, oh, well, you were tracing, oh, you were using AI art or things like that. I don't want to be that person. I'd rather just move on and just not interact with them because I'm like, yeah, no, I ain't gonna get into this because it creates a very like volatile environment, I think. But yeah, I've seen people who just bar for bar trace, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna interact with you. Like there's a difference from taking inspiration from something or even doing a study. Even doing a study. There's reasons for it. There's, stuff like that. Um, you know, but bar for bar tracing, not even changing anything and then saying that that work is yours. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna head out." Yes, I ran into AI artists, AI streamers, like literally streamer just AI or streamers who use AI. Oh, really? Damn. That's unfortunate but fair. Never find inspiration strangely enough. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, exactly. Tracing is fine if you're practicing and things like that. There's a difference in like using tracing as a tool to learn and like for example, you get artwork and you're like, okay, well, I want to learn how to draw a head. So I'm gonna start tracing a bunch of heads in order for me to get comfortable, one with using line art, one with like even sketching, having that confidence in your like brushstroke, as well as just seeing the head in 3 dimensions, right? Perfectly fine. However, if you are tracing something bar for bar, and I'm not talking about a meme. It could be a meme, it could be a very classical like depiction of an like a art piece. Like for example, when people do like memes from I don't know, from Vine or something, right? Or like a meme picture and they trace over and they like put their character in there or whatever. That's fine. I don't care. But what I'm getting at is very beautiful photography photos that are like very symbolic or like um even like a body of a person, like just really interesting poses, and then tracing over that and copying it bar for bar, and then saying that you came up with this concept by yourself or, you know, this and that. Like, it's just so blatant where I'm like, God damn, that's a lot. So yeah, usually when I see artists like that, I just don't associate with them. I don't necessarily talk to them or like and friendly with them because what is the chances they're gonna trace over my artwork? Let's be real. And I don't know about you guys, but if someone traces over my artwork and they say that it's theirs, I'ma say something. I'ma say something, dude. Let's see. What's your opinion on using 3D models? I've been thinking about using them, but it's hard. Hmm. 3D models? Oh my god, it's gonna be a bundle of like what do you call it? It's gonna be a bundle of like discussions on this. For me, I think it's fine. I've seen many artists use 3D models. It's just I would be very hesitant on relying on it. Because even for me, like my bodies are not the best. Let's be real. My bodies are not the best. Like this could look a lot better if I even just moved the shoulders to be less stiff and things like that. Could look a lot better, right? But I guess using it as a tool is good. Like for example, if you have like a 3D model right here and you're trying to draw from it, I think that's the best course of action. But if you're tracing over the 3D model, um it's not it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm gonna be honest. It's not the worst thing in the world, but be prepared for judgment. Cause it's a what do you call it? It's a huge thing, right? It's a huge thing to kind of trace over it because people feel some sort of way. For me, I'm like, I'd rather you guys be doing that than like tracing over someone's artwork. Or even just like if you have the 3D model and you're using it to like, what do you call it? Do this. Hold up. New canvas. Yeah, let me go find a 3D model real quick. We'll do a woman. A girly pop. And this is a random model off of Clip Studio Paint. There we go. Happened to me once. Someone traced over my art and then called it thumbnail deactivated. Lol. Yeah. Mm. I think if you're using it as a tool, I think it's fine. Like say you're using this and you're trying to figure out how to place the body or the pose. So you're like, okay, well, let me just try to sketch this out. Oh my god, I hate doing full body. I suck at it. Yeah, you're just trying to figure out where to do the pose. Okay, do this. And as you can see, I don't use to me personally, I don't use a very good method to sketch things out. Was it some people put that little ball right here? Yeah, like if you're trying to use it like this, I think it's completely fine. Or if you're just trying to figure out too this construction line, because there's a lot of different ways people use 3D models. Or whatever, right? Because then you can use this and then edit the body shape. So if you want like more of a kind of a plus size shape, you can like more easily do that and just see the pose itself. And I know some people just go full on and like draw from the pose itself. And there's like grounds for everything, right? I'm gonna pass out. I need to fix my sleep schedule. Oh yeah, no worries. Have a good rest. Unknown. Oh yeah, you did. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Unknown. But have a good rest. DJ Backtrot. Sleep well. Struggle with legs the most. So fair. Sketching. I hate sketching when I'm having a hard time. Personally, I hate sketching when I'm having a hard time. Man. Yeah, but just know that I have seen some artists who just go over the model as well. And I think even then, if you don't understand how to draw or like have any foothold on drawing either, I think it doesn't come out right. Like your understanding, like again, it's very hard to understand seeing something in a 3D plane. At least in my opinion, it's really hard to do that sometimes. Like yeah, everyone knows what the hell an apple looks like in their head. Or like, well, depending on if you have that semblance of like not being able to do that, my bad. But most people know, well, I guess I shouldn't say that either. People sometimes know how to like see an apple in their head, right? But it's very hard to turn that apple or turn that apple into a different object and then understand like, okay, well, this is how that would look. Like you can see it in your head and then maybe you can or cannot see it in your head, and say if you can, and then how clear of that image is it? And then it's like, okay, well then transfer that image onto the paper. And that's where I think a lot of people struggle with, like me especially. I struggle with that a lot. Gotta bounce. I had a fun time. Have good luck with your art. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thanks for chilling. Yeah, if you guys need to go to bed, please go to bed. Yeah, I think for me, I don't necessarily like saying something is like, when it comes to 3D models, something's completely bad. Just because I do know some people who do that. So then I feel bad saying like, oh no, it's a horrible thing to do. When that's not necessarily my opinion. My only concern is like, you're not going to understand anatomy quite well, and it can be a crutch. Like even for me, like I draw a lot of headshots slash busts because my full bodies are not really good. At least in my opinion, they're not really good. Sometimes they're okay. And that's my crutch. My crutch is that I don't necessarily do full bodies ever. And when I do them, you can tell that I don't do them. You can tell that I don't do full bodies all the time. Same way where I have some artist friends who only do like cinematic shots because they're concerned about how well they can draw the face. I have some friends who refuse to do backgrounds because they feel like they can't do them really well. But everyone is on their own art journey. And even for me, being such a like public facing kind of artist, even I don't have everything figured out. Or I don't think that my opinion should be the end all be all on anything. Let me try getting the face at least. I do know that the braids are going to kill me. The braids are 100% going to kill me. And that's not me complaining. I love and adore Clove's design. It's just that I never use I don't use a brush for braids. Because the way that I see it, when it comes to a lot of people's designs, at least like my friends' designs, the brush won't work. Like there's a lot of variation in like size. that doesn't come across quite well. It's like they have like bigger bundles of the braids on the top and then have like a smaller one on the side. So the same thing with clove. Clove has like a lot of like, what do you call it? Breathy braids? No, not breathy braids. Like very full, voluptuous braids that are like kind of, the hair itself is falling out of it a little bit. So with that, you have to draw that individually. You can't just stick that into a braid. You can't just stick that into a brush. It's gonna come out weird. Maybe you could if you had like a better knowledge of using brushes than me. You probably could, but I don't have that knowledge. Maybe a combination. See, I always get nervous using the G pen because my grip on pressure, I think, is really bad. Like my general, what do you call it? My general pressure sensitivity, I think, is bad for myself. Like this is not something that's like on the computer end or anything like that. It's more of just on me, myself, and I. Like I don't have the kind of stability in my hand to really make use of the G pen properly, I think. Oh my god, I was supposed to put I was supposed to put something on. I'm debating on starting a story, guys. I don't know. I'm debating. I'm debating. So the reason why I'm not exactly tired is because I woke up from a nap before I started stream. So I'm perfectly awake at this point. I don't necessarily have duties for tomorrow. So I am okay. But I'm not exactly sure how much longer I should go. We have been streaming for around, what, almost 4 hours, I think? Here, I really should be working on this. Here, let me put on a story. Listen to a story, and whenever the story ends, well, I'll end. Because I really should be getting to work on this. See, audio option. No. Here, I'll just do desktop audio, actually. This should work. Oh, I don't think that worked, actually. That did not work, okay. How do I... Guess it would be window capture, right? And then it would be... change to this. Yeah, okay. Or let me know if you can't hear it.
For a while though now. I'm fairly certain she just found an abandoned cabin and fixed it up as best she could. It was so cold in the winter, and the small fires that we managed to produce in the fireplace did little to warm the area. Most winter nights were spent with us cuddled under the same blanket. During the summers, the cabin was so humid that you could see the wood sweating. Often, we would opt for sleeping outside on summer nights, and despite the clouds of mosquitoes that the makeshift netting my mom made from old fabric did little to quell. The multitude of bug bites was preferable to waking up dehydrated from sweat, though. Our days back then were mostly spent with my mom hunting for small animals to cook and eat, while I gathered firewood and picked berries. On rare occasions, we would take breaks and spend the day singing songs or reading from the handful of books that she had. However, we needed to survive, and that meant working hard to ensure that we had food and fresh water. My mask made foraging more difficult than it should have been. I constantly had to pull at the white cotton sheet to fit the eye holes over my eyes, and it would often become drenched in sweat within an hour. The only time that I ever took off my mask was when my mom bathed me. I would often try to catch my reflection in the water, but it was never clean enough. I wondered if she had ever seen my face. She would have had to seen it the day that I was born, right? I learned early on not to ask my mom questions that involved the masks or my face. The only answer I ever received was that if I took off my mask in front of someone, something bad would happen. If I pushed any further, she would say, "I'm your mother and you should trust that I know what's best." And I did for a long time. My mother was my whole world, and I loved her as much as a boy could. We spent most of our time together, and I have mostly happy memories of her. Of
Can I just say that like living your life with a mask on must be hell? Like you can't like I think your face would get irritated, and just the not being able to see yourself I think would drive anyone insane.
course, there are bad memories sprinkled in there, with some being downright horrible. I recall once when I was somewhere between 4 and 6, I was playing outside in our garden. Mom was on the other side of the yard doing laundry while I hopped through the soft dirt, stepping on any pests that I saw. Looking at their guts on the underside of my shoes every time that I stepped on one filled me with a sense of satisfaction, knowing that I was aiding in our survival in a small way. I had made my way to the end of the garden when I noticed the rabbit cage. Mom had kept several that she had caught in traps to breed for meat. She told me to not get attached to any of them as we would be eating them all at some point. But of course, I had given them all names and loved sticking my fingers in the cage to feel their soft fur. One of the females, whom I had named Daisy after a character in one of my mom's books, was staring at me, and she chewed on whatever vegetation she had in her mouth as I approached. She didn't scurry or hide like all the others in the cage, instead continuing to look me in the eyes. The curious way she watched me made me smile underneath my mask. We looked at each other for a while before I got the sudden urge to untie the twine from my neck. It fell to the ground and I slowly pulled the mask away from my face. Daisy continued staring as I moved my bare face closer to hers. A warmth fell over me as she stared. The feeling of having someone, even a small-minded creature like a rabbit, see my real face was almost euphoric. The rabbit didn't cower as I thought it might upon seeing my face. The way my mom pushed to keep my face hidden made me think that there was something horrible about it. But if there was, Daisy didn't care. She didn't look at me any differently than she might my mom or one of the other rabbits. It made me smile brighter than I ever had. "Nestor," called my mom from around the corner. I struggled to grab my mask from the ground and throw it back in my face, but it was too late. Mom grabbed me by the shoulder while staring at the sky and smacked the back of my head hard enough to make my vision blur. "Put your mask back on right now," she cried. I did as she asked, and she pulled me away from the scene, leaving Daisy still staring in the spot where I had been standing. We had Daisy for dinner that night. Mom didn't have to tell me as I had seen her take Daisy from the cage from my bedroom.
Damn, dude. Damn. Okay. Instantly eating them, okay.
window. I listened to her frantic squeaks before Mom likely broke her neck, as was her common method for killing our dinner. Daisy lay in a charred pile in the center of the table that night. Mom pulled off one of her legs and threw it on my plate. "Eat," she said. Tears soaked the inside of my mask as I pulled down the mouth hole a bit, so it sat as close to my mouth as I could get it. I picked up Daisy's leg and I brought it to my lips. "Eat," she yelled. I took a bite of the unseasoned meat and tore it away from the bone. I closed my eyes while chewing and swallowed. Mom nodded and began eating some breast meat, satisfied. "Do you realize what could have happened if I accidentally saw you without your mask?" she asked. "No, you won't tell me," I returned defiantly. Mom paused as if trying to gather her thoughts. She sighed and then gave her constant answer of, "Something bad." I felt my mask poking at the small holes that had begun to form along the neck. I would have a new one the first time I met another person. Like the last mask, this one was made from cloth, but it was a bit thicker, as if it were made from a thick jacket. Despite this, it breathed better, making the summer trips collecting berries a bit more bearable. I was 8 or 9 years old during one of these trips, and several yards from us, I spotted a bush covered in red berries. We avoided the green berries, and most of what we ate was dark purple and bitter. However, the red ones had a sweet, tangy flavor that I still crave sometimes. I rushed over to them, carrying my basket in tow. I hadn't gotten used to my long legs and arms from my growth spurt earlier that year, so I awkwardly flopped around before reaching the bush. As I approached, it moved a little, like something was inside. I moved closer, assuming that it was a squirrel or some other small critter that I could easily fight off. A mop of blonde hair poked out from the side of the bush. I rounded it to see the back of a kid. They turned as soon as I had approached, and I was met with a blue-eyed, skinny blonde girl. She was around my age. Her hair fell past her shoulders, and it was full of leaves. The dirt stains on her clothes and scratches across her bare legs told me that she had been in the woods for a while. "Hi," the girl said with a bright smile. I backed away a bit. "Why are you wearing a mask? Are you a superhero?" she asked with a mocking laugh. "Superhero?" I asked. "Yeah," she returned before reaching into her back pocket and pulling out a rolled comic book. She handed it to me and I saw Spider-Man written on the front. It was the first time that I had ever seen anyone else in a mask, though his was a lot cooler than mine. "You should wear one like him instead," the girl said. The sound of leaves crunching sounded behind me, and I saw my mom approach with her bow and arrow. Her eyes widened when she noticed the girl. "Hello," the girl said. I watched my mom's hands shake as she held the bow and arrow tightly against her side. Another sound came from behind the girl, and Mom quickly lifted the weapon. It was a man with a large brown beard. He spotted my mom and instantly threw his hands up in submission while slowly moving in front of the girl. "Who are you?" Mom asked. Hello," he said. "I'm Monty and this is my daughter Jamie. We're camping nearby. Sorry, I didn't know that we were on someone's property." Mom refused to lower the bow and arrow. "You need to leave." "Is this your property?" the man asked. Mom bit her lip and her arm started to shake. "Yes," she said. "Would the parks office confirm that if I called?" he asked. Mom lowered the bow a little. "Jamie, why don't you go find some firewood?" he said. "But Dad..." "Go." Jamie pursed her lips and glanced at me before stomping away. "Look, if you're this deep in the woods, I assume you're hiding from something just like we are," he said to my mom before looking at me and raising his eyebrow. "We don't want any trouble, and I don't care what you're doing out here, honestly." You see that tree? Mom said, pointing to the tallest one in the area. Don't cross it again. You or your girl. You got it, Monty said with a smile, and with that, my mom lowered her weapon. I was just bluffing, by the way. I ain't got a phone. It's too easy to track. Mom grabbed me by the arm and pulled as we started walking back home. If you ever want to trade some of your kills, let me know, he said. We've got plenty of beans and rice. Mom ignored him. We're in the RV down the trail about 2 miles, he called. I looked back and saw the girl waving. I didn't stop looking until they disappeared in the distance. I helped Mom gut the rabbit that she had caught for dinner, holding the bag for the innards as she ripped them out of the small creature. She hadn't said much since we met the father and daughter in the woods, and I couldn't tell if she was concerned or mad. I knew I should avoid bringing it up, but I couldn't help myself. I thought you said there was no one else in these woods, I said as she placed a handful of viscera into the bag. Oh, there weren't, she said, and I need to figure out a way to get rid of them. Why? I asked. They didn't seem dangerous. She paused. Everyone is dangerous, Nestor. I dropped my head and stared into the bag for a while, not meaning to. My eyes got lost in the red and pink mixture that slid with every slight movement. The image of the girl popped into my head and wouldn't seem to leave. You're thinking about her, aren't you? Mom asked. Over time, I've learned many moms have this ability to predict exactly what their child is thinking, or at least offer a good guess. She was around your age. I looked at my mom and then back into the bag. She dropped the rabbit onto the wood slab and knelt in front of me. I know you're lonely, but you know that it has to be this way, she said. But why? I asked. You never tell me. I tell you that you need to trust me, she said before standing back up. And that should be the only explanation you need. It wasn't, though. I don't know if it was the fact that my mind was changing in adolescence or that I had finally had enough, but I had already started thinking of ways that I could sneak away and meet that girl again. Oh, I know it'll make you feel better, Mom said before taking off her blood-stained gloves and going inside. She came back out a few minutes later, holding something behind her back. She stopped in front of me and my hand started to shake with excitement. I had never gotten a gift before and never expected one. The feeling of excitement was something that I hadn't had much experience with. She paused.
I swear to God, if she pulls out handcuffs and handcuffs him, I swear to God.
For a few more moments as I felt that I was about to burst. She finally revealed what looked like a light brown mass, the color of a dying tree. She smiled as she handed it to me. It felt smooth and almost sticky. I pulled the edges apart to see that it was a new mask, but it was nothing like the ones that I had had before. This one had actual facial features, a mouth with lips, a nose like my mom's, and eyebrows. I made it with rabbit skins, she said. I thought you would like having one that looks like an actual face. I stared at it, trying to appear grateful but struggling to understand how I actually felt. Oh, well, try it on, she said. I did as she asked, pulling the thin leather across my head into my neck. It fit tightly against my head. The eye holes were perfectly situated so I wouldn't have to pull the mask down to see. You probably won't want to wear it in the summer, but I tried to make it more comfortable and durable than your last one. I breathed in the gamey smell of the leather and pressed my tongue against the inside of my mouth. Well, what do you think? She asked. Thanks, I said, wishing that it looked more like Spider-Man's. Mom was always exhausted after a day of hunting, especially during the summer. It was almost impossible to wake her up. When she fell asleep, I snuck out of the cabin and into the woods. I followed the path, remembering what Monty said about their RV being 2 miles down the trail. As I walked in the darkness, I wondered why I was trying so hard to see this girl again. I had been fine living my whole life without anyone besides Mom, though I had begun to wonder if that feeling of complacency came from a secluded life. I had been walking around for half an hour when I heard voices a few yards away. I ducked into the nearby trees and spotted a fire that gave way to a dingy brown RV. Monty sat in a chair beside the fire while Jamie danced around it. I moved closer without meaning to, not realizing that I was no longer hidden. Jamie spotted me as she rounded the fire. I watched her say something to him before she came skipping towards me. "Hey, Spider-Man, I like your new mask." "Thanks," I said. My name is Nestor." I like Spider-Man better. Come on, I told my dad that I was going to pee, but I want to show you something."
Damn, she just renamed him, bro. Actually, no. Actually, no.
She grabbed my hand and pulled me into the woods. Her hand was soft and warm despite it being chilly that night. I still remember that. The temperature of her hand left an impression on mine that seemed to remain for years. We walked a few yards more until she stopped at a small ditch with a thin stream at the bottom. She smiled at me before sliding down to the edge of the stream. I paused before following. At the bottom, she caught my arm and stopped me from going face first into the creek. She laughed and I laughed back. "Look," she said, pointing in the creek. I scanned the surface of the dark water, unsure of what she was pointing at. "Tadpoles," she said with excitement. I looked again, and in the moon's reflection, I saw tiny black dots swimming near the edge of the creek. "They'll grow legs soon," she said. "That's what I learned in school. Do you go to school?" I shook my head. "Yeah, I'm not right now, but my dad said I can go back soon, when we leave the woods." Despite not knowing her well, the thought of her leaving made my chest hurt. "Jamie," cried Monty from somewhere in the woods. "I gotta go," she said softly. "Come visit me again. Just whistle 3 times and I'll come find you in the woods." She climbed up the ditch and waved before disappearing. I only went to visit her on the nights that my mom was exhausted.
Man, this is gonna go horrible, isn't it? It's gonna go so bad. It's gonna go so bad, dude.
Sometimes Jamie was already in bed when I arrived. We only saw each other once every couple of weeks, but the times we saw each other made up for all the time away that I wanted to see her. Seeing her was like seeing sunshine after weeks of rain. On these late night meetings, Jamie told me all about her life out of the woods, the friends she had back in her hometown, the restaurants that she missed, the afternoons she spent at their local library reading whichever book had the coolest cover. "Have you ever read The Boxcar Children?" she asked me one night. I shook my head. My mom had a small collection of books and most were too long for me to be interested in. The only 3 that I had read from her collection were ones about local wildlife and an old cookbook with faded letters. "Whenever I leave, you can visit me and I'll let you borrow it," she said while hitting tall blades of grass with a stick. "I have the whole collection. Oh, and we can go to the movies. I love going to the movies. I used to go all the time with my mom and dad before they broke up." "Broke up?" I asked. "Yeah, it's like when adults decide they don't like each other anymore, so they stop living together." She knew so much more than me about movies, books, the world, everything. "You've really lived out here your whole life, Spider-Man?" she asked. "Yeah, I think so," I said. "That's cool. You're like this guy in the movie called Tarzan, except you weren't raised by gorillas, right?" She laughed. We found a clearing and sat in the cool grass. Fireflies flew around the tall grass like embers. We looked at each other and she smiled and I smiled back. She picked at the grass to her side, randomly glancing at me. "Why do you wear a mask?" she asked, not looking up at me. I knew that it would come up eventually, though. I liked how long she had gone before asking. My mom says something bad will happen, I said, wondering if I should have come up with a cooler reason. She picked at the grass for a few more seconds before standing up and dusting her hands. Works for me, she said before offering her hand to help me up. And as we stood in the moonlight, I knew there was no way my face was nearly as nice as hers. We had met each other every few weeks for around a year without either of us getting caught, and I got the feeling that her dad wouldn't care as much as my mom would. One night when I came back, my mom was waiting in the yard staring into the woods. She spotted me and her eyes grew wide with anger. "Where the hell were you?" she cried, moving towards me like an angry bull. She grabbed me by the shoulders and tried to look in my eyes, but I refused to meet them. Just out for a walk," I said. "You were meeting that girl, weren't you? You know we can't trust them." I pulled away from my mom and she stepped back, surprised. "What's wrong with you?" she asked. "She's my friend, my only friend." "I thought I was your friend," she returned, her voice dropping. I paused. "Friends don't keep secrets from each other. You don't tell me anything." Mom looked at the ground. I could see the thoughts racing through her head. She was considering something. "Why do we have to stay here?" I asked. "Why can't I have friends? Why can't I go to school? Why do I have to wear a mask?" Mom bit her lip and her eyes met mine. They were red and ready to break with tears. I waited for an answer, hoping that she'd finally decided to share something with me. She gripped her fists and then released them. She sighed and started back to the cabin, leaving me where I was standing. "Keep playing with her if you want," she said. "Just keep your mask on." Another year or so passed. I was still frustrated with my mom for not sharing
It's been 2 years and they've been living in the woods? It's been 2 years? Oh my god.
more information with me, but I was happy that
No, because like, when you think about it, right, like, I don't know, I can't imagine living in the woods, like, away from everyone, because it's not as though they can, like, go and hang out, like, what do you call it? It's not as though they can go into town, right, and gather supplies, I think, at least when it comes to the other family, because when you think about it, right, if they're on the run hiding from something, right, 100%, most likely the father probably wanted a divorce or something and, like, took the girl, I guess, you know? It was what I'm assuming at the very least, and it's, like, legally kind of iffy, right? That's what I'm guessing is what happened with that. I can't imagine living in the woods for a year, dude. You don't have access to anything.
I didn't have to sneak out to meet Jamie. We even started meeting in the daylight, making it much easier to explore the woods together. I showed her all the things that I'd learned over the years about how to identify poisonous plants, how to find your way home if you get lost, and how to track animals. "Wow, you know a lot about the woods," she said. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" I shrugged. "Will you teach me how to shoot a bow and arrow?" she asked. Mom had just taught me, so I wasn't sure how well I could teach her. However, the pleas in her eyes kept me from saying no. We found a spot near a clearing in the woods where my mom would often hunt for quails. We ducked behind a log and I set up the bow and arrow on top of it. A small flock of quail bobbed in and out of the tall grass. I picked a large one closer to us than the rest
Oh, hell no. Is she gonna get shot by the mother because she's thinking that, she's trying to attack her son? Is that where this is going? Is that I don't know. Whenever I listen to these stories, I'm, like, on edge.
and I aimed the arrow just as Mom had taught me. The quail bobbed again and I took a deep breath before letting the arrow go. The flock flew into the air, leaving the arrow on the ground, pointed towards the sky. We walked to the clearing and found the quail struck through its chest with the arrow. "That was amazing," she cried. "I want to try." It was the first animal that I had ever killed on my own, and I loved that Jamie was here to see it. It made me realize that I wanted her there for all the big moments in my life. And we went back to the log with my quail and hid. An hour or so passed before the flock returned and started picking its seeds and insects on the ground. I handed Jamie the bow and arrow. "What do I do?" she asked, holding the bow and arrow at her sides. "Oh, you have to show me, silly." I awkwardly moved towards her and placed my arms around her shoulders. I lifted her arm with the arrow and then the one with the bow. I positioned them in the right spots, slowly. Her hair smelled like sweat and dirt, but I liked it. You have to aim and take a breath before shooting," I said. "You need to make sure you're completely relaxing, and taking a breath helps." "Okay," she said. "How far do I pull the string back?" I gulped before putting my hand over hers. She breathed quickly as if I scared her, but quickly settled into my arms. I cupped my hand around hers and pulled the string back. She looked at me and smiled. "I think I got it," she said. I moved away as I noticed my heart beating harder than it ever had. She aimed the arrow and took a breath. She let it go and the flock flew away. We both watched the arrow for a moment and saw it move. We ran to it and saw the quail shot on the side. I pulled the arrow out and the tiny bird struggled to move away from us. "Oh no," she said. I could see her starting to cry. "It's okay," I said, picking up the quail and holding it between us. "Do you think that we can help?" Before she could finish her thought, I twisted the bird's neck and it went limp. I held it up and she stared at me wide-eyed. I cocked my head at her, but she looked away. "It's okay, you can keep it," she said. We spent the rest of that day at a clearing close to our campsite. She poked at rocks with her pocket knife and stared at the forest, not saying anything. I was about to ask her what was wrong when she dropped her head and began sobbing. "What's wrong?" I asked. She looked back up and then to me.
Girl, you were hunting. Girl, you were firing arrows at small animals. Why why are you shocked about the death, dude? Um,
"I want to go home." I dropped my head. "I know my dad is hiding me from my mom. He picked me up from school one day and told me that we were going on a fun trip and that we would go home soon. I believed him for a long time, but I'm not a stupid kid anymore. I miss my mom, I miss my old friends." I know she didn't mean to make me feel bad, but hearing all this hurt. I thought she was happy out here with me and that all we needed was each other. "I want to leave," she said, "and I want you to go with me." I sat back. "What? I can't leave." She pursed her lips and set her head on her knees. "Why do you wear that mask?" "I have to." "Well, because your mom says." I paused and then nodded. "Your mom's lying just like my dad is. I bet you $1,000,000 that nothing will happen if you take off your mask right now." She moved her hand towards me and gripped the neck of the mask. I pulled back and she let go. She paused and tried again, and this time I allowed her to untie the twine.
No!
Everything seemed to move in slow motion as she gently pulled upwards on the mask, careful to avoid yanking too hard around my nose and eyes. Everything went black as the last bit of the mask traveled up my face, but then Jamie's smiling face greeted me with the sun behind it. We stared at each other for several moments. "You see, nothing," she said, "and you don't even have any hideous scars or anything." "Really?" I asked. She shook her head and then leaned in, kissing me on the lips. My eyes widened in surprise for a moment, but I quickly relaxed as it felt right. Perfect. She pulled away and smiled again. My smile was so big that my cheeks started to hurt. "Let's leave, tonight," she said. "Tonight?" She nodded. "I can grab food and stuff to last us a while, and you can use your forest knowledge to lead us back to the road. Some adults will have to pick up some kids they see on the side of the road. I'll tell them where my mom lives and we can go back there." "Your mom would let me stay?" I asked. She nodded. "Well, of course." She stood up and offered her hand to me. I took it and pulled myself up. "Meet me here when the moon is in the center of the sky," she said. 1,000 thoughts went through my mind as I stood there, holding Jamie's hand. I wondered if this was really a good idea, if my mom would be okay without me, if I was ready to leave the woods. But I knew that I could do all of it as long as I was with Jamie. I nodded. She started out of the clearing with me a few feet behind her. She paused, causing me to stop. She stood still for several seconds with her arms at her sides, the pocket knife in her hand shaking. "Jamie, are you okay?" She turned to me with wide eyes and her mouth clenched. "Jamie." I moved towards her, but she lifted the knife. I stood frozen as she moved it towards her head, holding it a few inches from her cheek. "Jay." She stuck the knife deep in her face and I screamed. She pulled against the handle, dragging the blade along her face. I ran to stop her, but a kick to my stomach sent me to the ground. Jamie continued cutting her face, dragging it along her forehead and down to her ears.
Yo. Dude. Oh, this is so sad. Okay. Oh.
I leapt up to stop her again, but again and again she managed to keep me away while continuing to slice her.
Hi, Natasha. Hey, hi. We're listening to a scary story, and you got here at the climax. So basically, quick rundown. It's a dude who grew up in the woods, and he was told all of his life that he can't show anyone else his face. So his mom puts like a bag over his head, and so he's just been living in the woods with her for like as long as he can remember. 2 years ago, there was a kind of RV that rolled up, and a girl and her father showed up, and apparently they were hiding out here as well. So they basically said, "Hey, if you stick to your side, we stick to our side. We're cool." And they're living in the forest together. So right now, he ended up developing a relationship with the daughter of the guy, right? And unfortunately, they got so close to the point where she told him that she wanted to see him without his mask, and so he's like, "No." But then eventually she convinced him and she saw him and like looked at his face or whatever, and he's perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with him. So she's like, "Okay, why don't we run away together? Because I'm tired of living in the woods and I know that my father just kidnapped me and, told me to come with him." So, et cetera, et cetera. And right now, it's just revealed that she ended up getting a knife and mutilating herself basically after seeing him.
Her flash. "Jamie!" cried a voice from the woods. Monty distracted me for a moment as he came running into the clearing from behind me. "I heard a scream," he said while approaching, and noticed the knife in Jamie's hand and the blood running down her neck. "Jamie!" he cried. He ran quickly towards her, glancing at me along the way. He paused a few feet behind me, and I stood between the two of them as the horrible sounds of Jamie's knife still working down her face filled my ears and made my legs immobile. Monty stared blank-faced at me for a moment, and then dug into his pocket without looking down. He pulled out a much larger knife than Jamie's and stuck it into his own cheek, starting to cut along the same pattern that she had. I clocked the silence from behind me and turned. I didn't want to see what Jamie had done, but I couldn't stop myself. My brain wanted to leave as quickly as I could, but something buried deep told me to look. I looked upon a bloody mess of musculature. Her eyelids were still there, though she didn't blink. Her nose was gone, as were her lips, revealing 2 rows of small teeth. The sounds of Monty continuing to slice sounded behind me as my eyes traveled down Jamie's body. At her side, I saw what was left of her face. She lifted her arm and held it up to me. It looked like a... I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. Instead, I ran. I ran as fast as I could back to the cabin, pulling my mask back over my face along the way. Mom was peeling the husks from some corn when I ran into the yard. I stumbled to the ground and she ran over. The inside of my mask was soaked with tears and I was having trouble breathing it in. "Nestor, what's wrong?" she asked, kneeling in front of me. Her fingers drifted to the untied twine at the bottom of my neck. "Oh no," she said. Did she see your face? They're still alive. We can take them out of the woods." "It's too late for them, son. I'm sorry." I cried violently for another few moments and then looked at my mom. "When you said something bad would happen if somebody saw my face, you didn't mean something bad would happen to me, did you?" I sat in the kitchen while Mom brought me a cool glass of water. I could tell that she was stalling, but I didn't care. Everything was wrong and nothing she said would make it better. She sat in front of me and grabbed my hand. "I didn't want to tell you. I hoped I would never have to." She looked from side to side and then at me. "In the town I grew up in, this small place on the other side of the woods, there were stories of things in the forest. Things that only showed themselves when they wanted to be seen. Spirits, ghosts, monsters. Natives had a name for this particular brand of spirits that I can't remember," she continued. "Us in town always just called them face stealers." My heart stopped beating for a moment. The folks said if you looked at their faces, they would take yours. All of us kids figured they were just stories meant to keep us from wandering too far into the woods. That's what adults do, right? Tell kids fibs to keep them from getting hurt. Well, that's what I learned to do, Nestor, and I'm wondering if it was right. I'm wondering if I should have just told you this stuff from the beginning." She sighed. I wanted to say something, but my mind couldn't find the words. "I spent most of my life believing that there was no such thing as magic and things were only the way that you saw them," Mom said before pausing and looking at me. "One day I was walking in the woods just trying to clear my head. I might have wandered farther than I should have, but I grew up around the trees. I knew how to find my way back. As I was fixing to turn around, I noticed a man a few yards away from me off the trail. I didn't think nothing of it at first. Figured that he was out hunting or something like that. But when he turned to me, his face was missing, cut clean off, took everything except his teeth and ears. My hand started to shake. I didn't want to believe anything she was saying, but the image of Jamie's skinless face refused to leave my head. I started walking backwards thinking this man must have lost his mind, but it started to occur to me that maybe all those stories I thought were bullshit actually had some truth to them. She looked at me and then away. It was the first time that I had ever heard her curse. I kept moving away from the man when I saw this small body facing away from me, a few yards away off the trail. A kid, no older than 2 or 3, completely naked in the woods by themselves. I walked towards them thinking that they might be in danger from the man, but then I saw it. A clump of skin on the ground in a pile like some messed up anthill. The holes for his eyes were the only thing I saw before turning away. I didn't know what to do. I thought about just leaving you out there, but then you started to cry. A painful cry that broke my heart. I couldn't have kids of my own, but... She swallowed her saliva. I wrapped my outside shirt over your head and I picked you up. And when you wrapped your tiny arms around my neck, I knew that I had to protect you. So I just kept walking deeper and deeper into the woods, not knowing what to do but hoping that I would figure it out along the way. She answered the first question that I had without me having to say anything. "I don't know who left you there or why," she said. I wondered if your real parents would ever come looking for you. And maybe that's partly why I wanted us to stay as hidden as we could. Her eyes drifted to me. There was a long, heavy silence. Nestor, she started. I don't want to ask, son, but I think that I have to. When your friend did what she did you like it? Of course I didn't like it. I thought as I wandered back through the woods. I didn't have time to examine my emotions at the moment, though. I thought that I was terrified, but had I confused excitement for terror? The sun was beginning to set when I made it to the spot where Jamie and Monty lay. They were both on their backs, and their bodies still against the bright green grass. I warily approached, not wanting to see what had become of their faces, but unable to stop myself. I stopped just shy of their bodies and noticed something on the ground. A small mound of pink flesh stared back at me, and I knew that it was her face. I didn't move for a few moments, my stomach turning at the idea of what her face might look like detached from her body. But still I moved towards it, seeing a few insects had begun picking away at the flesh. I picked it up and dusting the small creatures away while feeling the softness of the flesh between my fingers. As the stinky blood coated my palms, I felt the side of my mouth begin to curl into a smile. I gasped and dropped Jamie's face before running away from the scene, wiping the blood from my hands onto my pants. I sat in my room staring at the wall for a long time. My body still buzzed from the feeling of Jamie's face between my fingers. The fear and sickness had all disappeared, instead replaced with an elation that I had never experienced. My body felt light, and the constant fear and anxiety
Yo, that is crazy.
that usually
Um,
filled my brain had gone away. I felt confident and more intelligent, though it seemed impossible at the time. I sat with the feeling, not wanting it to leave. However, when it did, it felt worse than I ever had. A dark cloud seemed to surround my head as my body felt heavy and bound to the space around me. The realization that I would never see my best friend again came rushing into me, and the guilt of knowing that I had caused her death made me wish that I were the one lying lifeless in the grass instead of her. I cried for the next few hours until it felt like I had no tears left. My mom had come by to check on me several times but avoided coming into my room. Just let me know if you need something, okay? She had asked once. I heard her move to her room and shut the door. She never closed her room at night before that day. I could tell there was something different about her, and
damn.
it had become more evident over the next few days. She no longer walked around the house like an authority figure, but
Yeah,
more
I'd be
like
fucking
someone
scared,
trying to
bro.
avoid eye contact with a mean dog.
Genuinely, I'd be fucking scared, dude. Like, cause like when you think about it, there had to be someone before for him for like basically there had to be something before for her to realize that like, not to look at his face. You know? Like there's probably like a string full of people who ended up like, having shit happen to them because she showed him their face. Scared as
She never
shit,
brought
bro.
up the incident again, and I was thankful for that. The guilt of killing Jamie never went away, though neither did the remembrance of that ecstasy that I experienced afterwards. It created a temptation in me to go out and find someone else to whom I could show my face. It became a regular craving. Usually it was more like one might crave sugar after going a long time without any, but some nights it was almost comparable to starvation. It became so bad that one day I saw my mom working outside, busy and distracted with chores. I approached from behind and started removing my mask without thinking.
Oh my god,
My
no.
mom heard me approach and spun around, dropping the garden hoe that she had been using. The look of fear in her face, the woman who had ensured my survival, who had loved me despite knowing that I was a monster, Seeing her that terrified of me, it almost hurt worse than Jamie. Mom slept with a chair against her door that night and for most nights after. While she was sleeping one night, I snuck into her craft room, spotting a large needle that she used on leather. I grabbed it, taking a thick roll of twine as well. Jamie's face flashed in my mind. First, her face the first time that I had met her, followed by the last time. I knew it was horrible, but my emotions and my brain weren't matching, and at the time I felt like my brain was right. If the cravings weren't going to stop, then I needed to prevent my mask from ever coming off again.
No.
I took the needle
Oh my god.
and
Okay.
twine and held them to my neck for a moment before taking a deep breath. The needle punctured my skin, and then the mask leather. I cringed as the twine slid down my flesh and felt every centimeter of its rough edges scraping the inside of my skin. Lines of crimson fell from every puncture in my neck. The harsh stinging I had felt when I first punctured my skin had become a dull pain. For the first time in my life, the mask felt warm and comforting. I breathed in its leathery smell before lying back on my bed, thankful that I would never hurt anyone like I'd hurt Jamie. My bed is much more comfortable these days. I invested in a weighted blanket and a goose down pillow, and you can truly tell the difference. In a month, it'll be 10 years since I left the woods. Mom died a year prior, and being out there by myself, well, it was lonelier than I can describe though. On some nights, I would give a lot of money for the peace and quiet of the woods. My apartment overlooks a bustling downtown area, and while the view is amazing, the noise of the city can be a bit overwhelming at times. Thank God for the noise-canceling headphones that my ex-girlfriend gifted me for Christmas last year.
What the fuck?
Though it's my day off, I decided to do some cleaning. I never got around to hiring a new cleaner, and the place has become a bit of a sty. I go to the bathroom and look in the mirror for a moment, seeing my night mask staring back at me. It's more lucid than any of the masks that I had growing up, but thick enough to prevent me from seeing my actual face. This mask is milky white and made of a thin plastic. It only covers my face, leaving my hair, ears, and neck visible. The scars where I had sewn that old mask on became a pale white over the years. No one ever asked about them though. There were only a few people who had ever seen me with my shirt off. Lining the bathroom counter are several other masks, ones that I made myself from materials that I've collected over the years. I've been perfecting them since leaving the woods. I was able to get away with crude masks for a while, using the excuse of having bad scarring, but I realized how much better it was to get close to someone before doing what I had to do. And people want something that they can see.
Yo, he's evil! He's evil!
Eyes that react to them, lips that move, and cheeks that wrinkle when smiling. I think I've almost got my masks perfect. They contour to every crease of my face and match my skin color perfectly.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought, okay, guys. Okay, wait. I originally thought that he was saying, like, oh, I enjoy having a thinner mask in order to have more of a connection with someone. So it's better whenever I reveal myself. I thought that's where he was going with it. Never mind. Proceed.
Only sometimes will someone notice something off about my face. Maybe they spot a plasticky sheen to the synthetic skin, or see makeup lines around my lips or eyes. They only make a look of concern and continue about their day, wondering if what they saw was only their imagination. I decide to clean my room first, starting with the mess of clothes in the closet. Before getting started though, I decide to reminisce and drag out the leather box near the back corner of the closet. I place it on my bed and pull the flap open. A smile climbs up my cheeks. I've managed to preserve most of them, with the latest ones being those of my ex-girlfriend and the cleaners. There are
Never mind, he's evil. Never mind. I was right. Never mind. Proceed.
23 in total, but I have plans for several more. So I'm
23? 23, you sick fuck.
probably going to need to find a better storage system. Seeing all the empty eye sockets and jagged edges of the faces always makes me feel a slight amount of the elation I felt upon taking them. It also makes me sad though. Sad that I didn't go back for her face before the forest took it.
Damn, that was crazy, guys. Damn, that was crazy. Um, well, yeah, I'm reading the comments. Jamie calling him Spider-Man was adorable right up until I remembered that this is horror and nothing good lasts. Let's see. At first I thought the mother had taken him from his father, but then it was revealed. It's like, damn, how strong is she keeping herself and him alive and hidden? Yeah, the ending is crazy. The human part of him really loved Jamie, but the monster part was disappointed that he didn't get to keep her face as a trophy. Someone check on the person who wrote this. And then you get like the people talking about the lore. This one is creepy AF, but I really enjoyed it and I was completely invested. Yeah, it was pretty good. I had a good time. Um, had a good time. Was freaked out a little bit, just a little bit. Ooh, okay. Let me see. We got pretty far actually. We got pretty far on the commission so far. Um, let me just finish up this braid real quick because it's super satisfying. There we go. Save. There we go. All right, let's see. Is there anyone I can throw you at? Because then I'm going to be thrown back into what do you call it? The mines of editing. Oh, someone's drawing Crimson. Oh. Here, let me just do this. Let me go, yeah, recommended. Hmm. Hmm. There's so many artists online. This is crazy. I never had this many people to choose from. What the hell? I never had this many people to choose from. Hmm. Hmm. Well, well, just so you guys can get your points. Let's find someone real quick. I am going to send you guys over. Hmm. I'm always nervous choosing someone new, dude. I'm always nervous. Oh my god. Who's here? Oh no! Pew pew pew
Prepare the fire.
pew.
Nisa has invaded.
Hi
Hurry, give
Nisa.
them bottles of flames.
Oh my god. Welcome on in, Raiders. Hello, hello, hello. What were you guys doing? Were you guys also drawing? Wait, were you raiding out? Yeah, I was. So, we've been going on for like 5 hours, but here, let me give you your shout out at least. Let's see. Also, you got some art tags? You got some art tags for me? Sniffs, sniffs, hands. Any art tags? There we go. But yeah, hello, hello, hello. My name is Reaper's Reprieve. You can call me Reaper, you can call me Percy, you can call me Nutty Dog. I use any pronouns, and I usually do art here. Right now, we were working on a commission. So I was doing the line art for it while listening to a creepy story. Doing emotes for a commission? Oh my god, let's go. Oh my god, let's go. Nice, nice. Oh, let me go ahead and add, where is it? Add you to my raid board real quick. Turn off the text. Where? There it is. I usually draw every single raider I get, but there's a huge backlog. I'm not gonna lie to you. Where'd my pen go? I literally dropped my pen. Okay, I'm just gonna add you to the bottom right here with a text. Cause I don't know where it rolled off to. Here, let me just add you real quick. Is there anyone that you would like to raid for you know, I guess what do you call it? I guess a chain? Link's okay? Yeah, of course. Be sure, yeah, go ahead and leave a link for the artwork and I'll show it on screen. Oh my god, Char. Twice, exactly. Ooh, bet. Here. Let me, before I forget, copy, and then let me draw you on this. There we go. Oh, thank you. Thank you. The username. There we go. Hold up. It's been a hot minute since I had this. Let me see the art text. I wish to see, I wish to see, I wish to see. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold up. This is so good. Can I put this on top? Oh, this is so good. One of the emotes you finished. I love this stare into your soul. Like wow. It's so good. It's so good. And it's honestly very clean. Like it's the line art is really good. Like how do I explain this? Like the colors and the line art are very clear, which I'm pretty sure it looks really good when it's like sized down. Here, let me see. Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. There you go. Everyone behold. Behold! Absorb! Thank you. Yeah, of course. It's really good. Again, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for sharing too. I love me some art tags. I love me some art tags. Here, let me go ahead and boop. And save this one before I forget. There we go. But yeah, close this. Yeah, was there anyone else that you would have liked to raid? I can pass the raid on if you would like. Also, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Here, I can show you how the raid art is probably going to look. Yeah, I used to do full color for them, but I realized that they were too much work. I was like, oh, yeah, probably something similar to this. Ooh, let's see. Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and find someone. This person seems like a completely new streamer, I think. Yeah, they look like a completely new guy. And their art seems really nice. They're drawing, I believe they're drawing a Stardew Valley character, I believe. Let's go ahead and raid into them. But again, sorry for the inconvenient raid. I'm so sorry. I really should get around to making sure that I press the little button to like stop raids from coming in. But I very much appreciate it, and thank you again for sharing your artwork. Yeah, we're gonna go raid into Kaji. Their artwork seems really nice because they're drawing pixel, like a pixel character into like their art style. And it looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys over there. Here are the raid messages. The first one is for everyone, and the second one is for all of my glucose guardians. Again, thank you guys on YouTube side as well. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, I'll probably see you guys probably tomorrow because it's like what? Yeah, it's Tuesday. No, it's okay. Someone literally raided into me right as I was raiding out. Oh, that's so real. Just a long raid train. Yeah, exactly. They said that their stream is going to be short. So hopefully it's not short enough to when we're like in the middle of raiding them that they leave. So yeah, you guys go have fun. I shall see you guys in the next one. Until next time. Also, I'm so sorry, people who raided into me. You don't know me like this, but I'm gonna eat your hand real quick.
7 tries, every night's a gamble. Even when I turn off all the lights, all I see are puzzles, yeah. I'd rather be dreaming, floating while sleeping, to islands in the sky. I need you to fly.